mates, my name is Indiana Jane. Welcome you to our Creation Discovery Center, and we are here in our catastrophe room. And what does catastrophe mean? Well, if we had a worldwide flood, what would the evidence be? It would be this creature right here, the Coelophysis. And he has every bone from the tip of his nose to the end of his tail. And how does that mean catastrophe? Well, with the head thrown back like that, he was struggling to breathe. He was buried alive. He was not torn apart by predators. He's got every bone. But he was buried quickly. A quick burial is the catastrophe of the worldwide flood. And we have one other creature here, the Archaeopteryx. He also has his head thrown back in that same death pose. And he also was quickly buried by that catastrophe, the worldwide flood. One of the wonderful things that we have here at the museum is a complete fossilized fish from the Green River Formation. And I have Caden here, he's holding this fish for me. And the one thing about this fish is it was quickly buried because it has every fin, every bone, even the gills, everything is here, it is complete. Well, why does that mean a catastrophe? It does, because he was quickly buried in this condition. He didn't have the bloating and floating with normal dying of a fish, right? All right, and that fish would be eaten by critters, and it wouldn't be looking like this fish. And then it would normally, eventually, go down to the bottom, but that's not what happened with this one. It was quickly buried by lots of wet dirt. What's wet dirt called?
Mud.
Mud. Mud, also called sediment, is quickly covering these creatures, and it couldn't go anywhere. And no other little microscopic things were eating it. Nothing was eating this creature. He died in this condition. This, Avery, is a T-Rex skull. Is that the coolest thing? Mm-hmm. Well, do you know that T-Rex is not the big predator that he was meant to be, but he's more like a scavenger. He eats dead things. Cool? So why do we think that he would eat dead things? Take a look at his teeth. Point to one of his teeth. And see the root up here? See these little dots, these holes? That shows how deep the root is. And the root, to such a long tooth, it's only 1 to 2 inch deep. Would that make a good predator? If he only has a root this big and a tooth this big? So he's not going around fighting with everything, but the opportunity of finding something dead and then eating it is a lot easier than chasing down an animal. And he's big, he's huge. Do you think he can run after that animal? He can't chase it very long at all. And what about those front limbs? Can you do the front limbs of the T-Rex? His arms are so short, he can't even put anything in his mouth because his mouth is way over here. Right. He can't eat anything like that. He can't pick anything up. He can't go and rah, 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 rah. No. But he doesn't have to fight with dead things. So he's a scavenger. And they've actually called him a gentle giant instead of a big, huge predator. Avery, do you know what this is?
No.
You don't know? No. It's a footprint. What do you think it would be a footprint of?
A dinosaur.
A big dinosaur. What about a T-Rex? Yes, this is T-Rex's footprint. Now, this is a wonderful thing. Why do we have footprints? Do you go to the beach? You do. Does your footprint stay and turn into a fossil? No, it doesn't. It washes away from the water. Ah, very good. So let's figure out, why do we have fossilized footprints? Because we had the worldwide flood, there was lots of wet dirt going around, and well, creatures were running this way and running that way because they were going, it's raining and it's doing something really crazy during this time, and we didn't understand, so they're running all over in the wet dirt, and the footprints were left behind. But there was something else that was going on during the worldwide flood. It was a catastrophe. It was volcanoes. And the volcanoes were spewing up something in the air. Do you know what that stuff is? It looks like a cloud. It's called volcanic ash. And the ash was coming down in the rain. And the ash was doing something very, very cool to the footprints. And it was like concrete. Have you stepped on concrete today? A sidewalk? Yes, she has. Everybody does. And concrete gets solid because of one special ingredient. The catalyst for a change is volcanic ash. It turns it hard as stone. Isn't that the coolest thing? So when they were running around making footprints and the rain was coming down that should have washed it all away, it didn't. It actually solidified those footprints. So when another layer of sediment or wet dirt, mud, all right, came in and filled it in. So now today, when some of those other sediments wash away, we see this wonderful footprint of a T-Rex, or this one of the Dilophosaurus. Cool? Very cool. One of the things we have here at the museum are some real, actual dinosaur fossils. This one is the tail club of an Ankylosaurus. Point to the tail club. Very good. This is just one piece of it, and it would be one of those right there. There's two of them, and then two smaller ones. So this club was a perfect weapon for this Ankylosaurus. And well, when these creatures got on the ark and they got off the ark, during the worldwide flood, they were saved. There were some of them. And well, later on, after the flood, we had an emperor that raised them. Dragons to pull his royal cart. Did you know that? Oh, and that emperor, well, he says, I am the emperor. I should not be pulled around by mere horses. Do you ride horses? Yeah, you do. They're nice. You would be considered a peasant. Just a peasant. And the emperor says, I should be pulled by a dragon. After the flood was over, dinosaurs were roaming the earth, and one of them was the Triceratops. We have a fossil here of the Triceratops, and it is part of the frill. Can you point to the frill? Right there, right on the edge there. And here is the rolled edge of the frill. And of course, fossils come broken. This one was put together very nicely. And as the frill, it's sort of like a big display, something to display for them. And then we had this creature was worshipped by Babylonians after the flood. So man and dinosaur have been together no millions of years, and that was one of the things that man and dinosaur did live together. This is a Mosasaur jaw. This jaw is only a section. Can you see the sign? Oh, do you know how big this mouth was? It was a huge one. Show me a big mouth. Big mouth, really long. So this is just a piece of his mouth. So this is the real thing. And well, do you know that in Jurassic World, this creature was eating a great white shark? They fed it to him, like Shamu. That is a cool thing. But this Mosasaur could very well have been the Leviathan of Job chapter 41. Cool? The one thing that is interesting about fossils is that they were once living bones or something else, and they've gone through a change. Oh, always because of the worldwide flood. So here I have some things that have gone through a change. They're no longer the original material, but they're not bones. Hold up what you got. Can you figure out what this is? Look at it, observe it,
Dino bone.
smell it.
Wow, that smells bad.
It does? But what do you think it is?
A stone or something?
It looks like a pretty rock. Pretty rock?
It doesn't smell. Maybe it's a stone covered in sediment or mud.
Oh, it was covered in sediment for sure from the worldwide flood. But it's no longer the original material. It's dino poop. Ooh, did you? It does no longer smell like poop. It is a stone turned solid to stone. But here's some other ones. And this one is shark poo. Can you hold it up? Wow, that's really cool. And this is turtle poo. Wow. So poo has gone through a change. If it was your dog doing his business on the grass and you didn't pick it up, it would dry out and then crumble and become fertilizer. But these, they did not have that happen to them because they were quickly buried. And the things that break down poo is one, oxygen. Well, if it's under mud, lots of wet dirt, sediment, it's not getting any oxygen to dry it out. And it also, no organisms. What's an organism? Little tiny microscopic organisms.
Well, I was going to say this was dried up dino organs.
Oh, it could have been, but it's dino poo. This is dino poo. So here, it's gone through a change because of quick burial, rapid burial, and lots of minerals in the water that flow through and do a change out to make it turn to stone, just like bones do.